He believed the universe had order, that chaos was just the absence of structure, that even excellence could be engineered, and if you follow the patterns, you too can become dangerously consistent. This is Aristotle, the man who turned power into a formula. And you're watching Cortex Studio, where every thought cuts deep. Born in 384 BCE in the shadow of Plato's legacy, Aristotle didn't just follow his master, he dismantled him. While Plato dreamed of perfect forms and divine ideals, Aristotle turned to the dirt, the flesh, the facts. He looked at the world as it was, not as it should be. Logic, biology, politics, ethics. He didn't specialize, he devoured everything. And in that devouring, he discovered how power works in the real world. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Aristotle believed that virtue wasn't some divine gift. It wasn't reserved for kings or heroes. It was a muscle, one that could be trained. Courage, discipline, justice. These weren't moods, they were behaviors, repeated until automatic. Ask yourself, what are you doing over and over again? Because that is who you are becoming. Aristotle didn't believe in extremes. He believed in the middle path, not weakness, not recklessness, the golden mean, the perfect center between two vices. Example, courage sits between cowardice and stupidity, generosity between greed and waste. Power, he said, is never in being the loudest, it's in being measured and dangerously composed. In a world obsessed with intensity, rage and dominance, the real threat is the man who knows exactly when to strike. While others argued with emotion, Aristotle brought structure. He created formal logic, the blueprint for reason itself. Premise, inference, conclusion. Emotion may move the masses, but logic decides the throne. And if you understand logic, you don't need to be louder, you only need to be right. Quietly. Power isn't always volume, sometimes it's silence, backed by undeniable structure. Aristotle wasn't just a philosopher, he was the tutor of Alexander the Great. The man who would go on to conquer the known world was trained by the man who understood how it worked. To Aristotle, politics was a living system, not chaos, not accident, but machinery. He believed in three good forms of government: monarchy, aristocracy, polity, and their corrupt shadows, tyranny, oligarchy, democracy. Yet, democracy to Aristotle was a degraded form of rule, a place where emotion rules reason and numbers outweigh wisdom. Unsettling, perhaps because he wasn't entirely wrong. In Aristotle's world, everything had purpose, a final cause, an inner destiny. The seed becomes a tree, the boy becomes a king, the idea becomes an empire. You're not a product of randomness, you are a result of repetition, and with the right habits, the right logic, the right balance, you don't just survive in this world, you define it. Aristotle didn't chase the divine. He mapped it. He believed the universe made sense, and once you saw the pattern, you could become something more than human, not through faith, through habit, through logic, through self-engineering. But don't worry, we're just getting started. Subscribe to Cortex Studio and design the version of you that no one is ready for.